You. It is a delight to be here with you. And today I want to talk to you about skin, glowing skin, and how to treat it or really support it rather with nutrition and wellness lifestyle. Okay. I want to talk to you specifically about hormone balance and the foods that we eat and the impact on our skin. So I have a very personal story for this as well. Growing up, really had challenges with this. And it was much further into the childhood that I started to get acne as well. It's very frustrating and very embarrassing at a young age, and especially when you're well into your 20s. And also I work with clients who are in their 30s and have acne as well, okay? And so what my own story is I was one of those girls who constantly had acne growing up. Okay, it was bad. It was not attractive. And so what I sought out was these very expensive 3-step acne treatments as well that never really worked for me, and they were pricey as well. Okay, and I'm sure you can imagine some of the names that are out there. I don't even see them anymore. But anyway, and so I started to take these kind of like step processes and these pills just to be able to calm my acne, and things never got better. And I was just even more embarrassed. And on top of it, I was also the girl with like braces and the herb supplants and the jaw expander, and especially did not know what to do with my hair back then. So anyway, just like picture this girl, okay? And so I had a number of other health challenges back then too. By the time I was 16, I was on sleeping pills. I was highly anxious. I never exercised, and I ate healthy at home with my family, but I never really paid attention to my diet otherwise, okay? And so I want to talk to you about how nutrition impacts your skin health. And that's really the journey that I went on as well, to notice that my skin improved when I started to have a different lifestyle as well, okay? And so I just want to go over my notes. I have a few things I want to talk to you about. And actually on that note as well, a few years ago, I walked into a spa. I was just opening up, and the girl at the desk was or she didn't know my name, but anyway, she's like, "You have such nice skin." And now I get compliments all the time on skin. And actually, I have Kristen, who's watching this. She has the nicest skin I've ever seen, and I just went to a facial facial acupuncture to her. So you need to follow her. She's life_on_point. She's amazing. So anyway, just shout out to you, Kristen, as well. But so I went to this opening, and they were like, "Oh, your skin is so nice. And what do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, I make sure I drink a lot of water. I'm always drinking water. I always am having avocados and walnuts and salmon and all these kinds of foods." And so she stopped me right away. She's like, "No, but have you heard of this product and this and this?" And she's like showing me these products, and it completely cut me off. And while I truly believe that, yes, what we put on our skin is so important, and I use the best products as well, but it starts with the inside, okay? And so I want to talk to you about that. And I really, on this point, I want to talk to you about hormones specifically, okay? And the Chinese face map goes into different points of our body and why acne shows up, okay? And I really want to focus on jawline, because that's connected to our hormones, and where acne would always show up for me, which was my forehead, okay? And still, honestly, time to time when I have pizza and I have bread, whatever, it always shows up, no matter if it's organic or whether it's sprouted, sourdough, whatever it is. I have a sensitivity to wheat, and it directly shows up on my face a day or two later, okay? And like I said, I have clients who come to me in their 30s, and they're like, "I have acne, what do I do?" And so we're going to talk about that. Again, if you see me looking over, I'm also live streaming on YouTube. And for those of you on YouTube, I'm live streaming on Instagram. And those of you watching the replay, you'll get it either way. Okay, so we see that research suggests that certain components of our diet influence are inflammatory mediators, okay? So for example, if we have too much estrogen, okay, androgens, which we'll be talking about, cortisol as well, these will all affect the skin. Okay, and so if we have pores that are become clogged because there's too much sebum that's being produced, from excess testosterone, for example, we then end up having cystic acne as well. Okay, there's other reasons as well, and I'm sure especially Kristen can tell you all about it, though in this, I want to talk about hormones, okay? And so what ends up happening if we don't eliminate some of these triggers and care for our hormones is we end up getting acne, especially at a, in your luteal phase as well, and we get frustrated, okay? So especially if you are in your luteal phase and you're finding yourself getting jawline acne, it is typically hormone related. And your luteal phase is right before your menstrual phase, about 7 to 4 days, okay? So I want you to cleanse your liver. Okay, so this is the organ that detoxifies your body. Okay, we have a lot of different toxins that are in through our water, through skincare, through our pollution. Okay, and actually I have a little mini e-course for you that you can get, and I talk to you about liver cleansing foods that I regularly consume. Actually, liver is something that I'm always working on as well, and you can get that by clicking the link in my bio, and I have a little free course for you. Okay. Then I want you to reduce your xenoestrogenic load. We have estrogen receptors in our body, okay? And estrogen is the hormone that gives, especially females, the curves, the smooth skin, the soft hair, okay? And so, but that naturally occurs, and unless it's detoxified through the body, through the stool actually is one of the best ways that we clear it, through adding more fiber and water in our diet, this estrogen ends up recycling, and then that's when we start to see PMS symptoms. This will all be talked about in my upcoming book. The link is also in my bio if you want to be up to date for when that is being released. Now, there are very exciting bonuses that are coming with it. So what happens is that we end up having excess estrogen. Pair that with makeup that's not natural, pair that with, again, our food supply or water supply, and then we end up having xenoestrogens that mimic estrogen that end up building on in our body. Okay, then we have excess estrogen, and this will also create excess acne along the jawline. So make sure that you're using organic tampons, pads, condoms. Make sure you are buying organic as much as possible to reduce the xenoestrogenic load. And same with cleaning products in your home, okay? Key thing here, especially if you have PCOS and you get cystic acne, you might get acne on your face or your body as well. You want to be balancing your blood sugar. Okay, so eating low glycemic foods, making sure that you are combining fats and fruit together, for example. Make sure that you have protein with each meal. It does not have to be meat, okay? It could be tempeh, it could be tofu. There's a lot of vegetables that have high protein. It could be beans and rice together, which form a complete protein as well. Okay, this will help to stabilize blood sugar, which will help to stabilize your mood, as well as your waistline, okay, as well as acne. I actually have a PCOS guideline as well that's also for free. By clicking the link in my bio, you can access that, okay? I want to go over some trigger foods with you. And just with my own journey, I always see that every time I have trigger foods, gluten especially for me, like I said, it can have sourdough, I can have rye, whatever it is. It just, gluten and myself they just don't work, and it shows up on my forehead immediately. Courtney, amazing question. So are lentils, beans, if combined with rice, does it form a complete protein? Yes, it does. That's an amazing question. And yeah, that's the funny thing. And you don't actually have to have it necessarily at the same time, but within the same day, because we end up building our amino acid pool, and the body can pull from that as well. But yes, I definitely, and you can see this in like traditional diets as well. You always see lentils paired with something else, usually another kind of grain, and then that will really help. Yeah, good question. And then also, I'll just again share with myself, every time I eat a lot of yogurt or dairy, also shows up, and usually jawline acne, okay? If you also find if you go to estrogen again, if you have wrinkles, for example, like premature wrinkles, that also can be with less estrogen production as well. Okay, sometimes we see women in perimenopause, for example, who end up having more dry skin, who require extra lube when they're in the bedroom, like all of this kind of stuff. That is from not having enough estrogen. And you can also tell by the color of your menstrual blood, which is going to be a little bit lighter in pink. Okay, and then I just kind of am jumping back and forth, even though I have my notes here. So other trigger foods are gluten, dairy, corn, soy, and sugar. Okay, these are not necessarily always going to affect everyone differently, but if you look at the Chinese face map, I also talk about that very deeply in the free audio course, and like why certain wrinkles show up and why you have like acne, whether it's in your middle of your forehead versus in your temples. Okay, in the free course. And those were all affected. I'm not going to go super into it right now. I had one client come to me with acne, and she uses all these like really great products on her skin, and she ate super well. She did have some dysbiosis or gut bacteria to work on, but the biggest thing was her sleep. She would go to sleep past midnight every night. She had 4 kids. And she would also tell me that she was not stressed out, and like all body language, everything, like high stress. But and really, once we got her sleep under control and rest, she actually started to clear up her acne as well. All right, let's get into some foods to eat for skin. And let me tell you, you start to add these more into your diet, you will notice a glow in your skin, okay? And so we see in the Journal of Evolution and Human Behavior that eating a diet rich in vegetables and fruit gave you a more healthier, attractive, radiant glow, that the same thing as you would get from the sun, okay? And those who consume more red and orange vegetables per day had the greatest sun-kissed complexion, okay? And it's because of the carotenoids. I always say there's so many different like compounds and enzymes that you'll see me butcher on this call. And so like, for example, in carrots and sweet potatoes, you'll see. It's the compound that gives the plant the color, essentially, okay? And so some of these foods are sweet potatoes, cooked tomatoes, and I say cooked because we actually absorb and digest cooked tomatoes better than we do raw tomatoes. I love that. Courtney says, since you told me to start the evening primrose, I've noticed an improvement. Definitely. Evening primrose just has this gorgeous glow on the skin, and especially if you have any hormone challenges or you just want to have a bit more balance with your PMS symptoms, evening primrose is my go-to for sure. I love that, Courtney. Okay, so other foods are carrots, natto, which is a fermented Japanese soybean, okay? And let me just address this because I get this question about soy a lot. If you're going to eat soy, which I do time to time as well, make sure that it's non-GMO and it's organic. Soy inherently is not a bad food. We see people around the world eat it, okay? It's really just the way that it's been mass-produced, and when things are mass-produced, there is less attention to the soil and how it's being raised, okay? And when we have poor soil, we have poor minerals, nutrients in the soil, we end up having plants that are less healthy, which then require more fertilizers and pesticides, okay? It's just like the human body. If our gut bacteria is off, we're going to start to have other problems other places, okay? Autoimmune conditions, brain fog, hormone challenges, it all comes down to bacteria, okay? A few other ones are salmon, avocados, walnuts, yellow pepper, eggs, and coconut oil. These are things I consume regularly, and I'm very happy with my skin. Okay, so I want to go into a little bit of further into these. So soybeans, natto, they are extremely high in vitamin K2. You might be able to get this at health food stores. If you're in Calgary at the Light Cellar, you definitely can get it there. K2 will promote skin elasticity to prevent wrinkles. Also bone broth, really, really amazing with collagen, okay? This helps to build your skin cells as well. Also salmon, okay, because of it helps to protect the integrity of your cell membranes. And I don't really want to get too far into all of the things that I have on here, like why, because at the end of the day, most people just want to know what and not really why, okay? I'm one of those Y people, and I'm sure some of you are too, but. So papaya, okay? Here's another enzyme that I'll pronounce properly, chymopapane, okay? Really great for inflammation, especially if you have eczema or psoriasis. Yellow peppers, okay? So the British Journal of Nutrition, I love this study, okay? They studied 700 Japanese women, and they found that the more yellow and green vegetables they ate, the less apt they were to have wrinkles and crow's feet, okay? And then in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, they found that the subjects who consumed 4 milligrams of vitamin C, so which is what you would get in a bite of yellow pepper daily for 3 years, decreased the appearance of wrinkles by 11%. That might seem not like a lot, but can you imagine? You're like, I improved my skin by 11% in a year. Sounds pretty good to me. Coconut oil. Okay, we've all heard about the craze about coconut oil, but here's why. Coconuts contain lauric and caprylic acid, which is they are antifungal, okay, and antimicrobial. And so they destroy bad bacteria. What is happening in the gut when you have brain fog, you have acne, you have hormonal challenges? As I mentioned just now, gut health is the foundation of it all, right? And so if you have dysbiosis, you're going to have troubles there, especially with the use of constant hand sanitizer, antibiotics, different medications. Make sure you're getting enough food that are protecting your gut bacteria, like coconut oil, like sauerkraut, pickles, kimchi, natto as well. But make sure if you get pickles and sauerkraut, they are from the grocery store refrigerated section and not the aisle beside ketchup, because that's already pasteurized and you're not going to get any other health benefits, okay? Lastly, I want to give you some other nutrients. I already mentioned collagen. Vitamin E is amazing. Evening primrose oil is amazing. Biotin you'll see in lots of different like health products. Honestly, I don't recommend just taking biotin because you're actually, B vitamins are competitive, and so they're going to knock out other B vitamins as well. Okay, so just try to get it in foods like eggs, for example. Really, honestly, I wanted to talk to you about some of the best foods. Let's just go over them again. Sweet potatoes, cooked tomatoes, carrots, natto, salmon, avocados, walnuts, yellow peppers, eggs, coconut oil, okay? Lots and lots of greens, lots of water. What's one of my secrets? I am constantly drinking water. I'm constantly drinking green tea. And I mentioned Kristen at the beginning of this call. I just did a facial acupuncture and I loved it. I highly recommend it. It's very non-invasive because some of that stuff scares the crap out of me. And maybe that's just my own belief about it. But I think that having great skin gives us such great confidence. Okay, we get to present ourselves completely differently in the world. And so if you can incorporate some of these foods, it will really, really bring a greater version of you. And I think at the end of the day, what other people want and what I want is when we have more confident people in the world, the better world we get to live in, right? Because you see happy, confident people helping other people, being better mothers and lovers and accountants and CEOs and artists, whatever your jam is, right? So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I do have, again, a free mini course I created about the Chinese face map, why you might get acne or wrinkles in certain parts of your face and what to do. I do love tools that I've recently, thank you, Kristen, that actually since going to Kristen, I've revived a Habaguasa tool. And maybe, Kristen, I'll have to have you on the podcast to talk more about just like tools and holistic ways to have radiant skin. Okay, so go check her out. Actually, really have to do a shout out to you again. Life_on_point is Kristen. She's a Chinese medicine doctor and acupuncturist. And then head over to the link in my bio where I have a mini course for you all about Chinese face mapping, more foods to eat and eliminate for glowing skin. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Mountain. Have a wonderful day, everyone.